These are late night thoughts with Shane as I'm getting ready to go to bed. I have a couple of thoughts that I would like to share with you all. So I came across a video where somebody was talking about how, you know, the US government, they're coming for the books, they're coming for digital resources, they're coming for movies and media and all of that, especially the educational stuff that is related to actual history. So people are talking about stockpiling on DVDs or getting printed versions of the books that they want to keep, that they know are will be like future resources for them. And they were also like, this is really the time to start banding together and like finding ways to commune. Yeah, finding ways to commune physically. As a longtime community advocate and full time extrovert, here are some ideas that I have about ways that people can start to build communities and like gather together in spaces to get to know the people that you are with and to start building friendships and stronger senses, stronger cores of community, especially as things keep going upside down. Some of these things might also help to build resources, not just like, oh, well, I know this person, but to build, yeah, sorry, I'm kind of falling asleep, but I want to say this before I completely go to bed. So one of the first things that came to mind is your health is going to be, like, your health is always important. Your health and your ability to move, more specifically, not just move abroad, but like physically move, is about to be so incredibly important during these times. So making sure that you're staying active and making sure that you're healthy is going to be very, very important. But these things can also be very expensive in the United States. So here are some ideas that I have for ways that people can start working together and to start building up these wellness and food-based resources. Dare I say, if you're thinking about, ooh, I think I want a baby, ooh, I'm itching for a little, maybe do some of these things instead. Maybe pop some birth control and do any one of these things instead. One is a community garden. So when I say a community garden, while it would be lovely, it would be ideal, dare I say, for people to have for like neighborhoods and townships to have community gardens that are not going to be overrun by the government. I have seen many videos, and there have been a couple of reports of different community gardens actually being uprooted or polluted or being covered, the food being like stripped out of the ground and then the ground salted, because the government wouldn't be able to tax the food that comes out of that ground. So while it would be great if there are some towns, I know that there are some towns that are still like able to do community gardens in a way that benefits the community. But if not, now is a great time to start. Like if somebody happens to either rent a place or own a place, or if somebody's family has a place where there is a backyard space that can be cultivated, I would start cultivating that ground right about now. I know that vertical gardens can be very expensive. If you have the resources for that, I would strongly recommend investing in that. But also, let's say that you live in an apartment building and everybody has a window. Some people might even have a terrace. This could be a great time to, maybe talk to some of your neighbors. Some people can start with like a couple pots of tomatoes. Other people can make a couple plots of herbs. Some people can, and then you could start to share those resources among each other. Then more people will catch on, and you'll start to learn some agricultural skills if you don't have them already. I'd like to call that urban communal farming. Another thing that people can do, that people have done, but you don't really see it as, let me rephrase. When I was living in the US, I wasn't seeing it as often, and I would love for this to come back. But once upon a time, people would just go into a park, whether it's by themselves, ideally, like maybe you bring a friend or two, and then each of you like has a skill for the day. So one person, you can like for the week do like a yoga routine, and then you teach that to somebody else. Or let's even say that one person has like it downloaded on their laptop or on their iPad or on their whatever, and then you go out into a park and you do meditation time, you have yoga, you do tai chi, you just be out and move your body in nature. Or you can go to one of those parks. A lot of schools have this, where schools or just like larger parks have this, where there's like workout equipment. It's not necessarily weighted, but there are equipment that you tend to see older people using them. Is just for free out in the park. Go and use that with some of your friends. Now, one of the big reasons why I really like the idea of doing like bringing a yoga mat out and doing like whether that's meditation or something like that is because that is, I think, more inviting for other people to potentially join in over time. You could also link up with, I know that there's a lot of towns that have different, it's not meetup groups, but there's like community organizers in a lot of towns that are looking for people to do stuff like this, or that are already doing stuff like this. Go join, see what's out there. Or if you don't see anything out there, maybe start something on your own. A lot of us are trapped by our laptops. A lot of us are trapped behind a desk, forced into these 9 to 5 livings, and it's really, really hard to make time for your physical health and to make time to build community. So if there's a way that you could combine those two while also being out in nature, I would do that, especially while it's still warm out. When it comes to your education, though, if you're looking for books and stuff, maybe don't order them online unless it's a specialty book that you can only get in a few spots. Outside of that, look at your local bookstores. Look at your, and when I say local, I mean like your hyper local bookstores. A lot of these bookstores, they'll have like a couple days out of the month where there's a bunch of books that people will either donate or they'll be like $1, $2, $5. They might also have some books in the back that could be discounted. You could ask about different reading series that are going on or visiting authors that are coming in, so that way if you don't have the money to go and like purchase a lot of these books, you could at least talk to the author. You could at least find out more information, and you could go with a group of people. I really want to emphasize, like, doing these things on your own is cool. Doing it in a group is going to be better. Why? Because you being smart is great. Your community being smart, your community being educated, that's going to be life-saving. I would also recommend, like, my mom's church it started off really small, and now it's this huge community event in Englewood, New Jersey, where I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's basically a community clothes drive where if you have clothes, your family has clothes, kids have clothes that they're no longer using anymore, it's basically a giant clothes swap for the community. Some people come with clothes to swap, some people just come needing clothes. This has actually been a really valuable way for people that don't have a lot of income coming in, the homeless community. There have been a decent amount of people who, regardless of their documentation status or whatever, there's been a lot of people that have been more marginalized communities. There we go. There have been a lot of very marginalized people who might not feel comfortable or have the funds to participate in fast fashion or to go to, well, I mean, Forever 21 doesn't exist anymore, but in spaces like that just need clothes. And so they go, and then you'll see a lot of these kids looking at the clothes, and then the kids start to be like, ooh, I like that color. That's my favorite color. And then you see the parents start talking. Or there's like sections where there's more like teen stuff, and then you see the teens start talking, and then there'd be like water, and sometimes there'd be like little, like, when I say events, I mean just like, I don't know, games and stuff like that. And people in the community would start to get to know each other, and they'd be able to get resources that they need. They do this twice a year, once before the summer and then once before the winter. So that way people that need those clothes would be able to get the clothes that are like critical for those seasons. Now is the time. Now is the time, guys. If you weren't doing it before, now is the time. If you have any more thoughts, ideas, suggestions, please type them away in the comment section. Refer back to this video if you need inspiration. Now is the time. So when I say be safe out there, I'm going to boop you on the nose when I say this. Boop. I mean it. All right, I'm going to bed. Kisses. Bye.